Building your dream life is a lot simpler than people realise. It's a lot easier if you put it into your budget and your budget reflects your values and what you actually want to spend your money on. I'm going to show you a few steps on how to do this, and pretty soon you're going to feel confident that everything that you want in life is achievable if you just spend the time to make the plan. And at the end, I'm going to give you my biggest tip that actually a lot of people miss, and this is why they can't achieve their goals. The first thing is to reflect on what your values are as a person. So I'm going to write these down on a piece of paper, and once you've done this, then you can look at how it actually translates into your budget. So my values that I just have as a person, and these kind of reflect what I want to spend my money on, is spending quality time with the people that I love, having experiences over material things most of the time, buying good quality over lots of cheap things, cooking nice food, the freedom to be able to go where I would like to. And this I mean specifically by having a car and just being able to drive whenever I want to go somewhere or leave somewhere. And then finally having financial security. So feeling like I can tackle an emergency if it crops up, or any sort of unexpected expenses. Now that I've written down my values, I'm going to show you in my budget what that actually looks like in terms of spending money to align with them. So in terms of quality time, I have in my fun category, I have dates. So that is quality time with my boyfriend. We put money into that every month. Also, I've got money for social, which is, again, just doing things but with friends or just with other people. And then also I even have quality time with myself. So I have solo date money, and that is for me to go out and do things alone. In terms of experiences, it's just the same. These sorts of categories reflect, and I put money in them every month so that it forces me to spend that money and makes me feel like I'm not spending money that needs to go elsewhere because I've already accounted for those things. Then in terms of buying good quality over lots of little things, usually I will put something in my budget. For example, this vacuum, we need to buy a new vacuum and we're going to do it in August, and actually putting it in there with the money, with the target of how much it's going to cost because I've already done the research. Well, there we go. I know that I will be able to afford it, and it's not something that I'm impulse purchasing and not having the money for. Another thing that I did is in my sinking funds, I have my clothes fund. And what I did recently was saved up a bit over a few months so that I could do a clothes shopping spree, I guess you could say. And I knew exactly what I needed because I decluttered my wardrobe ahead of time. And then I had that chunk of money that I could actually go into shops, try things on, know that it's going to fit me, know that I like wearing it. And then the money was well spent, and I knew that I was getting quality items over just impulse purchasing something off a fast fashion website. Another thing is cooking. Me and my boyfriend love to cook. We like to try new recipes. So in the grocery category, instead of just feeling like we never have enough or we go over budget, what I actually do is I just go over to the average spent button, and this is how I'm budgeting now with groceries, as I put in average spent. So I know it's realistic, and I'm not trying to achieve something that isn't realistic and something that's going to make me feel, I guess, annoyed at myself for going over budget. So I make sure that that has enough in it. And I also budget separately for household and toiletry items that I might get at the supermarket, because I want to know exactly how much I'm spending on each of those things so that it's a realistic target amount. In terms of freedom to travel, I recently bought a car a couple of months ago. So in my car category, I make sure that I have everything there that I need. I have my car maintenance fund for when I need to get repairs, and I make sure to put money into that every month. I have my insurance and my road tax covered. I have the average amount of petrol spent so that I am having a realistic amount for that as well, and make sure that I always have money for petrol. And then obviously my breakdown cover. So that whole category is super important to me. I mean, I spend a lot of money on my car every month, just keeping it running and things like that. And I spent quite a lot of it initially. And so I've got a car loan that I pay back. But the freedom to me is worth the 400 odd pounds that I spend a month on it, because I can go where I want, I can do what I want, I can leave when I want. So that is important to me. And then finally, financial security. Now, I'm not on a massive wage at the minute. I am increasing because I'm fully qualified as a teacher now, but what I do every month is about 30% of my paycheck goes towards looking after myself and my future. So you can see month ahead, I'm trying to get a month ahead on my essential costs and eventually on everything. I also have my car maintenance fund. So all of these things are helping me in case there is an emergency and I can pull from that when I need to. Then it's important for you to list out what are your long-term savings goals, and long-term could be anything from 3 months to 5 years. For me, a house deposit is a long-term savings goal for me. Me and my boyfriend want to move into a house within the next sort of 5 to 7 years. So I'm putting away money for that every month. We also are about to go on a holiday, and this is something that we've been saving for over 3 months. So it can change month to month what I'm saving up for. I have a gift fund as well, which normally I put in if I've got gifts I need to buy that month, but I'm going to start putting in something every month because I want to have the money for Christmas when it rolls around and not feel stressed financially about that. So you need to list out, just like you did for your values, what do you actually want? It could be anything. It could be £1,000 to go on a clothes shopping spree because you just want to feel like you can buy anything that you want. It could be for a cruise, any sort of holiday, buying a house. It could be for your children's university fund. Anything that you want, you can have, as long as you actually make a timeline for it. You put it in your budget. You figure out what date you want to have the money by, and then you figure out how much you need to set aside for it each month. And that timeline can change. If you get more money, you can put that towards it. If you get some sort of windfall of extra money that falls in your lap, if you get a raise, you can put more money in. Or if something tragic happens and you need an emergency fund and you need to pull from that, then you can change that timeline and put in a little bit less. So it's giving yourself the security of knowing that you're working towards your goals, but then also adapting it as new goals crop up, and then also if you want to get rid of any goals because they're not serving you anymore. The biggest part to achieving your dream life through your budget is patience. So make sure that you have that plan, but then you just continue to stick with it and you do what you can each month, and eventually those savings will grow, those goals will become a reality. It is about patience, and it's tough when you're starting out because you feel like you're not getting anywhere. But I can tell you, a few months into doing my budget this way, I am achieving things and I am doing things that I didn't think were possible. For example, this holiday that we're going on is going to be the second sort of long weekend away that we're doing this year, and I thought on the salaries that we both have that it just would not be achievable, but it is. You just have to put the work in to plan it and make sure that it will work for you. There are a few important mindsets that you need to have when doing your dream life in your budget. The first one is to enjoy your money now. Your goals will not be achieved if you can't enjoy your money now. You should not be too frugal when you don't need to be. So that is making sure that you actually have things that you can achieve now, making sure that you've got fun money that you allocate from your paycheck every month that you can spend, that reflect the values that you've written down. Also, you should not be impulse spending. It's so hard to break that habit, but the best advice I can give you is if you have the clarity and you plan to buy the things that you want, then you won't impulse spend. Because not only if you put it into your budget and wait till you have the money, you know that you can buy it guilt-free, but also it gives you that buffer of time to figure out if you actually want it in the first place. So I was saving up for a deck chair. Well, I say saving up, but I wasn't really getting very far with it. This deck chair that I wanted for the summer, and it was £160, and I just realised I don't want to put the money towards that right now because there are other things that I need to put my money to first, and that's okay. I'll get it another year, but this year it just wasn't realistic, so I took it out of the budget. Another way to kind of stick with having these small goals is to make a wish farm. Now, with YNAB, the software that I use, they have come up with that term, but really it's just a wish list with a plan. So a wish farm, you're supposed to have a small, medium and large goal. So a large goal would be something like your long-term savings goals, like a holiday, a house deposit, things like that. Small things should be something you can get within a month. For me, it would be that vacuum. I didn't put it in my wish farm because I want to remember to fund it, and my wish farm's at the bottom. So that would count as a small goal because I know I'm going to be able to buy it next month. And then you've got sort of your mid-range savings goals. So for example, my boyfriend wants to buy some new glasses, so he has put that in his wish farm and he put some money towards that, but that's something that he could achieve, you know, within a couple of months. So it's all up to you and what you want, but again, it's just thinking about what you want to buy and putting it in the budget so that you plan for it and it's not an impulse purchase. You definitely want it and you definitely have the money. To sum up, enjoy your money now, but just make sure that you're smart with it. And if you are, then you will achieve what you want. Now, finally, the last step, and this is the most important part, make changes to your budget. Every day if you need to, every week, every month, scrap it and start again. You need to be adapting your budget with your life. So if things happen, you don't want to save for something anymore, you have a new savings goal, you're overspending and you need to pull from somewhere else, these things are going to happen. That is the realistic part of life, finances, budgeting. Things will happen and you will need to change your plan. But that is the best part of it, is you are changing as your priorities change, your budget is changing with you. So it is always going to reflect the dream life that you want. And this doesn't have to be just long-term goals or emergencies. Maybe your values change. Maybe you realize that you want to start donating more because you are earning more money and you've got some extra cash and that is important to you now. Maybe you didn't care about cooking to begin with and you more like to prioritize restaurants and eating out, but now you do want to start cooking more. Constantly reflecting and changing your budget as you are changing, again, is just going to solidify that dream life and that plan that is actionable, attainable, and realistic. Follow these steps and let me know how you get on. Let me know in the comments if your budget is reflecting your dream life. What is the life that you want? What are your values? What do you like to spend money on? Let me know in the comments. I hope you really enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one.